This is Mayor Sullivan. I'm here with NEK-TV. We are doing the first of several segments of Walk with the Mayor. We are on East Main Street now. We want you to know about East Main Street. We will be going to Main Street and all of the areas in the city. Ready?
Ready.
Here we go, walking into Buzzy's. What is Buzzy's? Let's find out. Hello.
How are you today?
Good. Hi. So here we are again. We're on our Walk with the Mayor and we're going through all of our wonderful, wonderful stores and services that we have. And right now we're on East Main Street. And I want to introduce you to
Ben Baker,
and Ben Baker is the owner of
Buzzy's Beverage and Redemption.
See, that was easy, right?
Yeah,
That was
that's
nice and easy. But I want you to understand that we are here, and I walked in, and people are coming in, and there's some great things here. We have a bottle redemption site, and if you could tell people just a little bit about that, how does it work?
You bring in your empties from, with the Vermont deposit on them. We count them out, bring them out, and we pay you back what you paid for deposit when you purchased.
Okay. So that's good. And then how do you get rid of the bottles?
A company called Tomra picks up the bottles, and they pay us a handling fee. That's how we
Excellent.
make our money. And then they go to Burlington, they're crushed, melted, whatever, and recycled.
So then it works. I mean, the system works.
It does.
And that's a good thing. That's excellent. So a lot of people might not know that that bottle redemption site is here, right here in Newport, and we want you to come in and see. We also have some great products. So you've got cigarettes, you've got drinks. So what else is going on in here? How long have you been here?
We have been here for 13 years. We bought it from my folks who had it for 13 years before that. So 26 years total.
Wow.
And yeah, it's been good.
It sounds great. And so how do you feel, how can the city help get you out there with more exposure?
I don't feel like I need any help.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's great.
We're busy most of the time. We have great customers, and
So you have a flow. You have a continual following.
we do.
Excellent. That's what we want to hear in Newport, is that you have that flow. Customers are coming here and you're going to continue to thrive.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah,
I don't see
well-
why not.
Well, I don't see why not either, because this is fantastic. So I really want to thank you for letting us come in here and letting us get the word out for you. This is great.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. What? The door opens this way. Come on in. So we are at Nevermore Bookstore, Newport. Part of Newport. In fact, a gem in Newport. And please introduce yourself.
I'm Larry Bradley. I own the bookstore. I've been here 9 years fully, and December 2nd will start my 10th year. And I'm glad that you came.
I'm
Really.
excited to be here, and I can't wait for December 2nd so we can come and celebrate.
Yes.
So you have right now, okay, you kind of feel like you might be excluded. What is it you feel you're excluded from? The publicity, the announcements to the public, or does it feel like, oh, go to a different section?
I think it's that. I think it's go to a different section. And
Okay.
I think that a lot of emphasis is put on that part of Main Street. Now up here, I mean, I could try and get people involved in doing our own decorating and go door to door and see if anybody would be interested in that. But it's the problem is we're spread out. You can park one place on Main Street down there and handle all the stores. Here, I mean, even though I have free parking, which is a plus, you have to drive to it. You really can't walk up here to it. I mean,
Especially
you
in
can if you-
inclement weather.
in inclement weather, you can. And I know that certain places on Main Street were included. This East Main were included on Main Street, but myself and the Brown Cow were not. The motel or the hotel on the corner from Cumberland Farms, across from Cumberland Farms, was included. And I just thought that that was sort of strange that they would skip over the only bookstore in the area.
Right. So, as the only bookstore in the area, let's talk about all the wonderful things. You know, you walk in and it's like walking into church, right? You walk in and
Right.
you become so small, and you go breathe it in. And
I do that every morning.
Right.
I walk in the door and just breathe it in.
And I mean, you know, what better place to be than a bookstore? Okay?
I know.
I mean, you just get everybody's thoughts in your blood.
I feel like I'm surrounded by friends.
Oh, that's
really
the
do.
key. That is the key. So, tell me about.
Hi,
Hi. Tell me about what goes on here. You have readings. Do you just have book clubs?
I do have readings. I haven't had one in a while. Go ahead, Sam.
Hi.
I do have readings. I spoke with Sidney Lee, who was the poet laureate of the state a few years ago, and he contacted me and reached out and said he wanted to do a reading here. So we're probably going to do something in November, and usually when I do a reading, I set a 6-foot table up in the back and I just throw food on it. So I supply the food, they supply the books, and the reading.
How do we get that message out, though?
The only thing that I can do, because I really can't afford to do advertising all over the place, is through Facebook.
Okay.
I do it on Facebook. I don't know how to contact you to get it out there.
Well, you will by the end of this
I
session.
will by the end of this session. Okay, good. And so I have that, and then I have my writing group, which meets Friday and Saturday, and we were on VPR last month because of the writing group. And the way we do it is we do prompts, so we will come up with the Bolt Coast and write about it for 10 minutes, and then we share it. So it's an immediate gratification or immediate disaster, depending on how it goes. And I've had all walks of life for the group. I had an 18-year-old kid who just got a 4-year full ride to Columbia.
Wow.
Yeah, he was the
Wow.
one at North Country. And I had other people, a memoir writer, a fiction writer, a songwriter who would tap out the beat and close his eyes while he was writing, which I thought was very endearing. So it's really good, and it's really good, I think, from my perspective, to get people involved in something that maybe they wanted to but didn't have access to. So I've been doing this for probably 7 or 8 years. December 2nd will mark my going into my 10th year. So I have to do something special for my 10-year anniversary.
Okay.
Not sure what it's going to be. Maybe a 50% off store-wide sale. I don't know. But, yeah, so I wanted to do something that is
Please
not...
invite me.
I will invite you. You're always invited. I will do something that, as far as the writing group goes, something that, as I said, they don't have access to. They can take a course at CCB, but it's when it's offered. So I have all walks of life that come in here. I usually keep the group to about 7 or 8 people, and Saturday mornings I have it so that if you, in the summertime, wanted to do something,
Sure.
you have the afternoon.
Wow. So where do you get your books?
I get my books, most of them through donation. Originally, when I opened the store, I received sort of an inheritance of books and bookshelves. And then I brought my own books into it, and I was buying books. And the people have been so gracious. The furniture here has been donated when I first opened. So there's the books are donated most of the time. So there's a huge outreach as far as this bookstore goes in the area, because the closest one is in Lindenville.
Right.
As far as I know, there might be one that I just heard of in Troy. I'm not sure, but it's not. I don't think it's as big as this. this is pretty big.
And so you have like, when you walk into a bookstore, you expect to be able to find all of these different topics, etc. What do we find here?
No, you won't find anything because I don't have any of the sections labeled. So when you come in, I can point you in the right direction. I can ask you what you read and point you in the right direction. Or the reason I don't have the labels on the areas is because I want people to wander, and you'll find yourself picking up a book on the Druids that you didn't know you wanted, or you pick up a book of fiction that perhaps you know the author, and so that's what I wanted. I wanted people to wander, and if you want to know a section, I'll be more than happy to tell you.
Right, but that's what's so unique about it. I mean, you walk around, because when I come in, it's like, oh, look at this, and you're just pulled.
Right, you're pulled towards
different
what you...
book binders, you know,
Right,
and then you say, oh, what's this? And I haven't seen this for X amount of years, or I didn't know this existed.
Yeah, I have a pretty big Vermont section, so a lot of people will come in, especially tourists, will come in and ask something for Vermont. The doctor who wrote about bag bulb, something like that. They want something that's unusual and specific to Vermont. Yeah, so that's what I originally planned on. I wanted each room to look differently. That one looks like a library shelving. This is kind of a wandering maze over in that room. These are my collectible books.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted the X's over here for these sections. So that was a real job to get the 8 bookshelves are attached to one section, and they're all screwed in together.
Look, yeah.
So they don't it doesn't move. They don't shift. And so I have 2 of those, and then I have a whole children's section with a little rocker in the back.
Okay. Do you find that a lot of people come here with their children?
Yes, a lot of people come in for their children's books, and I have a program called Creating Young Readers, where I wrap up 3 books in newspaper. I couldn't even tell you what's in each one, and I give them to kids that come into the store, because I don't want to see a kid leave the store without a book in their hand, even if the parents don't buy anything. At least the kid has the book. And my only request is that they don't open the book or the package in the store, because I don't want to see if they're disappointed.
They should never be disappointed.
I don't like horses. I don't want to read this.
But that's how
so
you
that
learn.
You can do that in the car.
Yeah, but that's how you learn, right?
That's how you learn.
That's how you learn. I remember, you're in school, you go to the library, and sometimes they pass out a book for you. And
I
you had
remember
to
the
take that
Scholastic book fairs, which I used to go insane with. I remember kids actually laughing at me because I would go up and get all of these books each month that they provided the Scholastic book fair. And I ate that up as a kid. I really did.
But sometimes it's more fun, you get a book that you didn't expect, I mean, I remember getting the Helen Keller book, and I was like, I didn't know as a young child, and it's like, why am I reading this? And I was like engrossed.
Right.
And then it leads you to other things. I mean, books. You can't get enough books.
No, you're right. And, there's a book over there about Einstein on the shelf. And so you might actually end up reading something by Einstein, even though, I can't understand it. I just accept the fact that I'm scientifically brain dead. But
I doubt that.
It leads you into other
things, other
things.
opportunities, right?
You might like the author, and you might want to read another biography by that author,
or a sentence that just grabs.
Well, this is what my journal here is. I write down sentences that really get to me, and they actually end up being prompts for my writing group. So I'm always sort of preparing myself for that.
This is fascinating. This
Really?
is so fascinating.
Good.
This is what books are all about. Books create writers. We create films, create TV shows, we create more books, arts, interpretation. This is wonderful.
And I really like I know that they do other writing groups, like they have one in Middlebury, because I had some friends who were up here visiting from Middlebury, and they were talking about their writing group that they have, and the way they do it is they turn in homework each week, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have to assemble all of this stuff and then just read it all at once. This, you have 10 minutes to write, and however long it takes to discuss it. And it's an immediate satisfaction.
Oh, we love instant gratification.
We do like instant gratification.
At least I love instant gratification. This is fantastic. So how do people find you? Is there, you said Facebook, how do they find you?
One thing is that people can come out of their house and walk around their neighborhood. Especially up here, I've had people who said, I've lived here 28 years and have no idea that you were right around the corner.
Oh my.
And that's something that I try and work towards, because if you didn't know, then other people didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And advertising, funds are sort of limited for advertising in the newspapers, and it's easy and it's free on Facebook. I just have to get people to follow the page. So far I have 1.1 thousand followers for Nevermore and 1,000 likes. So some of them are repeated, but
That's
it's
okay.
2,000 people.
Right, right. And then whoever's friends with them will see it. Like I know I'm friends, like I liked it, and so
Right.
my 5,000,
Hey, sweetie,
10,000
guess what I got
followers.
for you?
Excuse me.
Hi,
Hello.
come on
What
in.
you got? Holy smokes.
Oh,
So
my.
this is the perfect example of people who come in, whether they like the store, heard about the store, they
These
just
guys
come in.
know I come in here and I buy my Cassie Edwards, so he always got some stock for me.
All right. Look at up there. Well, this is wonderful.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you
So much.
so much. So like I'm over here, like my new thing is like I'm gonna reread Dante's Inferno. So I started that, and then I'm rereading, the Aeneid, and so now I love Greek literature and
So do I.
translation. And so I'm rereading that, and then I'm like, so I have like 4 or 5 of those going back that I'm rereading, because I just adored them when I was in college.
And you
I
learn them. You learn from them. The nice thing, I remember reading Moby Dick in, I didn't read it until college. And I reread it, and I missed so much when I was in college, because I had a really heavy reading load when I went to school,
Right.
so, as an English major, so I had a lot. Were you?
No.
Oh, really? Wow, that's interesting. So I reread that and just got a completely different feel from the book. I got so much more out of rereading it, and I've done that with a number of classic literature books.
I so appreciate that. When I was in college, I went to the New School for Social Research in Manhattan, and I remember in my anthropology class, there must have been like 300 people there, and oh hi, can I have the reading list?
Right.
And the professor said, Dr. Blau said, if it's written, you read it.
Oh, interesting.
And I went, how interesting.
That should be my motto here.
And that, you know what?
If it's
and
written,
I made
you should
that.
read it.
I said, okay, if it's written, I'm going to read it. I sought out books that were in libraries in Alaska. If it had to do masks, anything that had to do with what I was researching, and if it was written, I read it. I became like a Freud and Jungian guru. I was like...
I was Jungian, I wasn't Freud. No,
Yeah, well,
had a
I
big
started
Freud
and
section.
went all the way up, And so it's just amazing. But it teaches you about society.
And it also teaches you how to interact with other people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
right.
That's the human side of
That's right.
reading.
And I love that, because I always think, gee, we have such specialists. People go to school, they know what they're going to be when they grow up, but they're missing the liberal arts. They're missing that whole education.
And we these days funding for the liberal arts has taken a cut. The National Endowment, the NEA, that has taken a cut, and a lot of places that were funding for grants no longer exist.
Correct.
And that saddens me. I'm not. Sam would be able to attest to any grants that you would receive from for artists, but I can only speak for writers. And the NEA is all walks of liberal arts life.
Sure. But it's fantastic, you know. My brother, who passed away a couple of years ago, he was a writer for TV and film, very famous writer actually. He made it, and Frank Lupo, and he did like
Okay.
Walk 100, Wise Guy 18, all of those. But you know, he was an avid reader. David Copperfield was his thing. Oh boy, collections and collections over and over and over and
Dickens.
over. Yeah, I mean David Copperfield, he was like
Dickens is a
Yeah.
book. Dickens is an author you can read anytime.
That's
I mean,
correct.
Of course, you get the Christmas story
right. Mhm.
at Christmas time, but he's an author I return to all the time because there are such strange, sinister, loving characters in his books.
They're
He wrote-
human.
they're human. He wrote like crazy. They were all serialized in magazines.
Mhm.
So you actually read the whole book before the book was published because it was published in snippets.
Mhm.
And there were a lot of authors that did that at the same time. But
Yeah.
Dickens is not on my banned book list.
No.
I have a banned book section back there. And
Banning books.
banning books. Florida has banned over 1,400
Yeah,
books last year
banning
alone.
books.
So I have a banned bookshelf where I go through and I, find out why they were banned. Tarzan was banned because it was not the relationship between Tarzan and Jane was one where they were shacking up together and they weren't married, which I just find so out of touch, especially these days.
Mhm.
And I did have one lady who came in and she said to me, you should be ashamed of yourself. And I gave her the same look you did. And she thought I was banning the books. She thought I, as a bookstore owner,
because
was
it said
banning
banned
them.
books. Maybe you should say unbanned books.
I would love to say unbanned books and just put them back on my regular shelf.
There you go.
But
Say.
she really thought I was.
Or banned, not.
Right. In parentheses, not.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow, you are great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to make sure everybody knows you're here.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming in. It was a big surprise. I had no idea.
You see, I do that. I surprise people.
I know. It was a pleasant surprise.
Well, next time I come back in, it's going to find more of my fun books to read.
Good, please do.
And maybe
I
I'll
have
pop in
plenty
at one of your
classics.
writing sessions.
You should.
I would love to.
You should.
I would love to do
It's for beginners. It's for people who I've been writing for years, so I send things out to get published, and I've been published in pretty good places. People have been kind to me as far as editors go, but it's for all levels.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lady who's an attorney, and she
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily write,
Mm-hmm.
but some of the stuff that she writes just knocks my socks off. And
That's what you want.
for a non-writer.
But that's a great outlet for her. You know, she's so regimented in the style of writing she needs to do for the legal system.
Right.
And now she can actually
Correct.
write what's in her heart.
She can write what she wants to write, and she's not paid for it.
Exactly. She doesn't
I wish
have
I
to
could
go
pay these guys.
0.2 billable hours, 0.5. I appreciate what she's going through.
Right.
No, but this is fantastic. So you are just a gem for us.
Thank you. I appreciate this so much.
No, we appreciate you. So we will be
If I
back.
if I knew that I was going to be interviewed, I would have worn something a little snazzy.
And we see that I would have had to get all dressed up. We would have done this whole black tie thing.
Right.
Hey, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You're the best.
Thank you.
Ready? In we go to Newport Optical. Here we are at the optometrist, and as it says, please walk in. So, you know, they've got amazing collections of glasses, which are always fun, but even more important, they take care of your eyes. Health, health, health. Walk with the Mayor, where right now we're doing East Main Street. If we haven't come to see you yet, we are on our way. So we will catch up with you on one of our next episodes, and we will continue throughout Newport. All of our businesses are important.